Welcome back. I normally start these year-specific things with a recap of some of the events of the day. But you know what? This time, I don't really have it in me. 2017. Fake news, #MeToo, more terror attacks, more Brexit, more Trump, more Tories, more Putin, hurricanes, quakes, mass shootings. Yeah, I think I'll sit this one out, which is kind of my theme for 2017 because it's also the year that I quit my job. Or to be more specific, I was offered redundancy and I took it. The preceding 5-6 years had been marked by constant churn. I'd had, I think, 6 different line managers in that time. And the whole organisation was in constant flux. New management, new staff, new ideas, lather, rinse, repeat, over and over. It was exhausting. There was an open call for voluntary redundancies and I went for it. Given some looming changes in contract terms, it was pretty much the last opportunity to leave with a decent payout. I was desperately unhappy with my situation, so it was kind of a no-brainer. My family, my wife, was 100% behind me. It was a little scary, yes, but ultimately the right move at the right time. There were potential job opportunities looming, but for the immediate future, I was just glad of a break. And looking down the list of albums I have for this year, I'm beginning to think I took a break from music this year too. Slim pickings, only a few goodies, and as a consequence, a single clear winner almost by default. Something quite sweet and familiar sounding to start with. That's Doris and the Daggers by Spiral Stairs. This is Scott Camberg's second album as Spiral, following a few albums as Preston School of Industry, which landed around about the turn of the millennium. Forever the Bridesmaid in the Pavement verse, this is as ever stuffed with easy melodies and an Antipodean indie vibe. Think Flying Nun, the go-betweens maybe, less self-consciously lo-fi, more focused on straight-up songwriting. Power pop on eco mode maybe, unhurried, splashes of Americana, and only the odd bit of his old band's Sonic Chaos. It might come over as a little slight on first listen, but it's really worth sticking with. Dance, Cry Wolf is a great opener, and the wonderful brass and organ supplementing trams, Stole My Love, makes it a highlight. There's even a brazen fall call-out in the good-natured fanfic of Dundee Man. Yeah, the whole thing is not trying too hard, which in this case works in its favour. I like it a lot. Next, Nadine Shah and Holiday Destination. This was released this year, but didn't pick up a Mercury Prize nomination until 2018. Yeah, this record's a good summation of all the social and political issues swirling around this year. It's impassioned and unflinching in its lyrical ambition. A stylized post-punk grab bag, not a million miles away from PJ Harvey's Hope 6 Demolition Project in its kind of sound and feel, but far more focused and more successful as a result. Touching on casual racism, xenophobia, populist politicians, the state of the world circa then, it's all in here. One thing that you'll either warm to Nadine's singing voice or you won't. I know some who find it a little overcooked, but I'm not among them. Her voice, however, that of a second-generation immigrant, mixed race, Muslim, born and raised in the Northeast, it deserves to be heard. The last one of this group then, and it's Halo by Juana Molina. And it was very close to the top of my pile. I'll admit I know nothing of her stuff prior to Halo, but this, her 7th full-length album from a career stretching back way into the 90s, is a corker. Spanish language, a spooked mix of minimal electronic folk music, treated vocals, analog synths, circular guitar lines, and looping, cascading rhythms. For what is quite experimental music, the atmosphere is hugely welcoming. Playful sonic tricks and Juana's uniquely affected voice pull you in from the get-go. And the trance-like states she generates from the barest of bones are very impressive. I wasn't going to go there, but the default description of Juana is the Argentinian Bjork. I'd say maybe the Latin broadcast is closer. But in the absence of anything better, that should be enough to let you know, what you're letting yourself in for if you give this one a try. I think Halo is pretty fantastic, and if this weekly exercise has taught me anything, it's that there are hundreds of single album artists in my collection that are worthy of much deeper exploration. And as of right now, Juana has moved to the top of that not inconsiderable pile. Today's artists are not their first rodeo when it comes to this list, and I won't sugar this one, not their best album. You can only play with the hand you're dealt, and in 2017, this is still the record to beat for me. I'd call it a comeback, but were they ever really gone? And that, for some people, made this album a bit of a problem. This is LCD Soundsystem and American Dream. Yeah, awkward. The band's big Madison Square Garden's farewell show was only 6 years before, and given that it was, handed the full documentary and posthumous live album treatment, many found American Dream an odd proposition. In fact, amongst all the critical plaudits, there were a smattering of dissenters decrying it as either lazy or cynical, or just rehashed leftovers warmed up for the eager fans. A wholly internet-era band fronted by someone old enough to know better was a fairly common take, as I recall. Plenty of keyboard warriors lining up to provide a geek chorus of meh, or mid, or low-energy clapbacks. Unfair, I think. Listen closely and you'll hear Murphy has plenty to say, a lot to reflect on, and the music reaches further back into his past than ever for inspiration. There are plenty of Byrne, Bowie, Eno nods, as you would expect. The flat, thuddy bass, busy percussion and frippy guitar of Other Voices is pulled taut somewhere in between Talking Heads' Cross-Eyed and Painless and Bowie's Fashion, which, over familiarity be damned, is a good place to be. But it's the preponderance of gothic, post-punk sounds and atmospheres that I think are the new thing here. With the emphasis on gothic, I Used To has that Cure kind of faith, pornography era crawl and progression, the slow motion evisceration and emptying out. Emotional Haircut wears its closer era Joy Division brazenly. How Do You Sleep's rolling, echoing toms are pure Dorothy Column, Bruce Mitchell, circa 82, 83. Even Change Your Mind, initially a dead ringer for more Bowie, Scary Monsters period this time. It reveals itself to be even closer to Bauhaus's Kick in the Eye as the song develops. The dancefloor does take centre stage though for mid-album high and second single, Tonight, a squelchy acid-powered monolith, building and building gloriously, without ever threatening to deviate from its single-minded course. I could dissect every other influence, but I'd be sat here for an hour and you'd be clicking up next well before that. Instead, James Murphy's lyrics, often dissected purely for name drops and vocal affectations, deserve a spot of their own, I think, dealing as they do with aging, losing your people, the inspirations you grew up with, and in Murphy's case, got to work with, and how those experiences send you back to your youth. I've already outlined the musical side of that, but American Dream, the title track, remembers suicide and Alan Vega, another of those 2016 musical casualties. But its closer, Black Screen, that is both the heart of and the inspiration for the whole album. Bowie himself had, before his death, encouraged Murphy to follow his instincts, to test himself, to do the uncomfortable thing, the difficult thing, and reconvene LCD for one more album. And James, still processing his loss, sings, "Couldn't make our wedding day, too sick to travel. You fell between a friend and a father." I think this record comes from a good place. I don't buy the cynicism about it. Murphy has always remixed the past, always written songs about people writing songs. The music on American Dream still excites me. And if you're overly concerned with people borrowing formative music as inspiration, then maybe you're just listening too hard. To me, it sounds like the break did him good. And in a year where I stopped to catch my own breath, who am I to judge? LCD Soundsystem, not their best album, that would be Sound of Silver, but this one I think stands shoulder to shoulder with all of the others. Do you like American Dream? Do you have any thoughts about it? And if not, what would your choice for this year be? Let's talk about it below the line. And here we are at the end of the video again. If you did get here, thanks very much. You've stuck with it, and why not think about giving it a like if you've enjoyed it. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, then think about doing that too. It really helps the channel. And I will not take up any more of your time. Please do take care, and I hope to see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.